Hey kids, what's good? This is Pulse Ray Vision coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco's studios and my mom's basement, as always, where we get all the hot pockets and meatloaf your heart desires brought to us from our mom if you just yell up the stairs. I've got some great guests on today. The brain power in this is it's probably illegal that we've got going on here.
That's
So
not including me.
no, we've got a lot going on. We're gonna bring you guys as much information as we can about Pulsar and Pulse Wars. And we have some more guests that should be joining us as they show up. We'll let them introduce themselves and join the discourse. But let's just go clockwise with Kool-Aid and Allie. Just go ahead and introduce yourselves one by one. Let people know who you are in case they don't already know who you are, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm Crypto Kool-Aid or Lawrence Rowland. I'm one of the founders of Pulsar, been level architect in the gaming industry for about 18 years and been Hex since basically the first. So I'm really excited to be here. And again, Hexray is an old friend.
All right, Allie, go ahead and
Hey,
let people know who
everybody.
you are.
I'm Ali Kane, founder of a new NFT project built for Pulse Chain called Pulse Wars. I've been kicking around the Hex and Pulse Chain ecosystem for a few years, but after the kind of flop of the launch and the disappearance of RH, I decided it was time to step up and do my part to help add to the community and add to the chain. So I've been building this Pulse Wars project for the last 6 months, and I'm very excited to be here and share what I've been doing for the last while. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Awesome. And Giffordwear, introduce yourself to all the friends here.
Hi, Giffordwear. You guys can call me Giff. It's the most easiest way. I've been around the ecosystem for 3 or 4 years now. People who may recognize me may remember me from back in the day on the Icosahedron streams. But since then, I've been teaching myself how to be a software engineer and trying to do my own thing as well.
Awesome. Great to have you. And it's great to have everyone in chat. Everyone in chat should have a wrench. If you don't have a wrench and you're cool, you will be getting a wrench in here. I want to say hi to Fast Abdul, says, tell me your secrets. And then, of course, Lawrence says, first bribes. Ali Kane, of course, red squirrels in the house. Y'all have no idea what's going on, baby dolls. Watch the magic unfold. Pulsar is going to be massive, says Crypto Elite. And then we got Sith Master Hex in the house. What's up? Vets in Crypto, he's everywhere. Let's get this shared out to the peeps. Hexo's account has been hacked. Don't click on the links from Hexo. That's good to know. And some more love here. We got Hex Glenn in the house. Good to see you, buddy. FashionCoder is excited for this stream. I hopefully you'll be on this stream soon, FashionCoder. I did send you the link. So we got Lighted Up saying yes, Ali. And then, of course, War Ants is in the house. Crypto Kool-Aid's on both of his accounts. Rain Man's in the house. So thank you very much for all being here. Hit the like button, share it if you guys could on Twitter. That would be great. The first thing I'd like to jump into, and obviously if you guys have any questions, throw them up on screen. And like Laser, for instance, dude, Laser, I still wear that Hex softball t-shirt all the time, but he says, remember the first conference in Vegas? Yes, we definitely remember that. FashionCoder can't find the link. Let me DM it to you on X again. Make sure you got it there. SJ's in the house. Let's go. Can't wait for Utah. Yeah, we're going to be doing the Utah Pulse Chain Tour on April 13th. So if you guys are in the Salt Lake area or want to drive or fly to the Salt Lake area and hang out, we're going to be there. I'll be speaking at that one and talking about my journey from truck driver to crypto homie. And that'll be a lot of fun too. And I will meme your chair, Larry, says Red Squirrel. I've had a lot of people talk about our interview with your chair and SBF's beanbag chair. It's grown and had a life of its own. So
that was classic days right there. That was the classic days.
Well, hey, let's jump into Pulse Wars. If you guys have any questions in chat, throw them up on screen. I'll throw them up on screen. We'll try to address them as they come up, both with Pulsar and Pulseware. Or anything you guys have that you guys want to ask, we'll jump on that. And before we jump into Pulse Wars, let's ask Fashion Coder, please. And I'm sorry to couldn't
Hi.
find the link.
I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm trying to get in this. I hope all of you are doing well. It was nice, like hearing your introductions. I was watching because I wanted to make sure that I knew everyone. But I'm so excited to hear about Pulse Wars and all of the things. So thanks so much for having me. Also, I'm baking brownies right now, so I'm gonna have to step away when they're ready. But I'll come back.
That's
it's
good.
it's kind of funny. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube. I put out like a Twitter post yesterday of me on a video trying to get in touch with some of the people from the Hex and Pulse Chain community just to get on more channels and put my message out a bit more. But I've been messaging so many people in the community, and you, Fashion Coder, are one of them. I've been sending you DMs for about 3 months. When
Oh
you haven't
no.
seen any of them.
Oh no. Okay, I'll have to go check. I have some filter thing and it confuses me. So I'll have to go look.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It
for
is the
people,
one thing about internet messaging. It's really hard sometimes to actually thread through all the rest of that stuff. So
Yep.
nature of the
Yeah,
beast.
I get that totally.
and Fashion Coder, you're also going to be at the Pulse Chain Tour in Salt Lake area, correct?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm so excited. It's going to be
And you're
awesome.
currently doing a 30-day series of leveling up your life, which I've been reposting and enjoying.
Thank you.
So tell us, and just really quickly, if anyone doesn't know Fashion Coder, just do a quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, totally. So I'm Fashion Coder. I go by Crypto Bestie. My name's Rachel, though, so you can call me any of those things. I got into crypto in 2019 and then started making videos 2 years ago, and then just like became a part of this community. And it's been so awesome. I absolutely love it. Love crypto and love being a part of this space. And I am doing a 30-day series on leveling up your life, not just your finances, through our crypto wellness journey. And so it's been a lot of fun. And it's the 24th, so we have a couple more days left of it, and it's been awesome. So thanks for reposting them.
Whenever I get into into crypto at the start, I was watching a lot of your videos at the start as a noob. They were very, very helpful.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. It's nice to hear that.
All right, let's jump into Pulse Wars and tell us all about this, how you came up with it, what the target audience was, what you want to see come out of this this product.
Okay, so the idea for this game, I've been in the ecosystem since May 21, and I get hit hard, through the whole bear market. I was lucky enough to find Richard Hart in the Hex ecosystem and find that community to kind of keep me on the right track for a couple of years. So even when I was only in crypto a few months, I'd sacrificed for Pulse Chain, and I was in learning a lot of the really good lessons from watching Hexagon streamers and stuff like that. Fast forward on a couple of years, Pulse Chain launches and Richard Hart disappears. And there was a big lull and everybody was kind of fighting with each other. All the charts were going down. And for me, I'd get fed up watching the charts. And I've always tried to add a little bit to whatever communities that I'm in. Even before doing any of this on my Instagram, I had a couple of thousand followers on Instagram, and I changed my page to Kane Pulse Chain, and I did about 100 little less than a minute tutorial videos teaching people about the absolute bare basics of crypto. They were like 100 short 1-minute videos. What is a DEX? What is a SEX? All these little very, very simple things. So I was trying to add value. But whenever we hit this thing, Richard Hart had disappeared. Everybody was fighting. It was all looking bleak and pretty grim. And I was very much of the opinion that when there was an argument that Richard Hart should be doing more or the community should be doing more. So I was very much of the opinion that we should all be stepping up and building what we could adding to the community as much as possible. So even the strap line for this game, or the tagline for the game, is the future of our ecosystem is in our hands. So the main focus that I had for this was to build something specifically for the Hex and Pulse Chain community. And a big focus was to try to bring some of the subsections of the communities together. Okay. Now, when we go through in a little bit more detail, I think this might be one of the first games of its kind ever. I think it is the first game that allows NFTs from other collections to come in and play the game. I have collaborations with 25, my NFT collection. We have collaborations with 25 other NFT collections that can come along and play this game. We also have within it like a thing called the Pulse Wars community games, where, I've picked 20 kind of subsets of the community and created teams that people who hold my NFTs can join. So there was a massive focus on, stopping fighting, or even finding things that if there's these fighting factions from within our community, that they can come and do something fun together within my game. So look, what is it? It's an NFT battle game. There's 16,384 NFTs that start this game. They all start off with a fictional $10,000 crypto portfolio, and they all get entered into what we call a battle league. The game runs through 14 rounds over 280 days, and every round, if your NFT is in the bottom half of the league table, it gets eliminated. So 280 days, 14 rounds, half. That's why it starts off 16,000 halved 14 times, ends up with one overall winner. What we hope will be the top of the bull run, sort of March or close to it, March in 2025. And whoever is left holding the winning NFT will win 3.5 billion pulse. Now that at today's value is worth about $500,000 or about 450 odd grand. So the plan was to run this game the whole way through the run up, and hopefully Pulse does a 10, 20, whatever it may be, 50x. And with that, these prize pools and the top prize all increase in value with that. So that's a general overall gist of what it is. Any questions so far?
Yeah, so other people are taking their NFTs and they're joining this battle with their NFTs, correct?
Yeah, so we have our own collection of 10,000 NFTs that are called Pulse Wars NFTs, but the game allows it's over 16,000 in. So if you hold an NFT from one of our collaborating collections, you can bring that NFT along and enter it into the game as well. So not only do we have our own 10,000, we have over 6,000 entries that are allowed from other NFT collections. And when we get into the white paper, the list of the 25 NFT collections is in there. So yes, whenever we go minting, whenever we have the mint live on Saturday, when you come to the website, you'll have two choices: mint a Pulse Wars NFT or join with an existing NFT. And when picking the collaborations again, I've really tried to reach out into the different corners of the community to bring different subsections in together.
Cool. And can you address this question up here? Warrant says, to make sure if you lose a round, you will not lose your NFT, right? Heard some people questioning this.
Yeah, so we have the main game, the main Pulse Wars that lasts 280 days. It has a 10 billion pulse prize pool. And then if you make it through there's 14 rounds. If you make it through the first 5 and into round 6, you make it into the prize pools. But if you imagine, even in the first round, we're going to lose over 8,000 NFTs. So what we have as well for anybody holding any of our NFTs, we have a thing that we call the Pulse Wars Community Games. And these are weekly competitions that are available for all NFT holders. And in those games, we have 50 million pulse up for grabs every single week. And that's free for all NFT holders to play every single week. So even if you get eliminated, you can still play these Pulse Wars community games.
So they're placing their NFT or one of your NFTs into a smart contract, correct?
So just on, if you bring an NFT from a different collection, we actually mint them a new NFT that represents their entry to the game. And we do this for 2 reasons. It's so that it doesn't affect the original NFT. And if say somebody mints one and they have what we call a citizen NFT. So if you use one of your own NFTs, when you bring it in, we mint them what we call a citizen NFT. You join as a citizen of the Pulse Chain army. You can say if that NFT makes it to say round 13, it has the potential to win $10 million, or $5 million if we've done a big run up. You can sell that NFT and kind of on the secondary market and cash out, but you still hold your original NFT, because many NFTs that the people hold, they have utility, they get value from them, they get airdrops, they get rewards, so you can kind of use them both separately still. But on the game site, it will be the original NFT that you use to join that's displayed in the game.
Okay. So while their NFT is being used in the game, it's locked or it's wrapped somehow, correct? And then if they lose, they get the NFT back, or it's not wrapped at
Well,
all.
it's not locked. It's not locked in. It's just whenever you connect your wallet, it'll recognize our game set will recognize the NFT. And so here's if I just give you a bit more of an overview of what we actually how the game actually plays as well, then maybe you'll get a bit more understanding. So look, the web just flick through the website, just gives you a little quick about the gameplay. So you mint your NFTs, you select how you're going to manage the portfolio within your NFT, and then you enter into the leagues. Within there are 7 different classes of NFT within the game. 6 of those are within our own 10,000 collection, the 10,000 Pulse Wars NFTs. So we have Pulsicans, Founders, Frenemies and VCs, Natives, Power Items, and Maxis. That's the 6 NFTs within our collection. They all play the game in a slightly different way. There's no, there's little tweaks to make each one play it slightly differently. And then the citizens. So the citizens are, again, like I said, the other collections that can come in and join. If you want to flick through, the website gives you a little kind of backstory of what each is and how they play the game. And then just the FAQs. The team is on the website as well. So it's me, Escape Web3, the development agency that we employed to build all the games, the contracts, and the NFTs. And Alfonso and Charlie are the 2 artists that did all the artwork within the game. Into the white paper. Any other questions so far? Sorry.
I had a quick question. Where does the 3.5 billion Pulse come from?
Okay,
Just
so
the award.
I'll just flick quickly back down to prize pools. So 16,384 NFTs available for minting. This distribution is as follows. So 53% is allocated to the main game, 12% goes to the additional community games, and then 35% is directed to the team and game development.
Awesome.
Okay, let me flick back to the start. Okay, look, we kind of ran through a bit of this already, but what is Pulse Wars? Pulse Wars is the first game of its kind, bringing together multiple NFT collections and communities into an epic game of skill and survival. Can your NFT survive through 14 rounds of elimination battles and claim the spoils of war? We'll have a nice, if you flick into the white paper, this gives a really basic, nice, simple overview of how to play the game. It's really as simple as mint, manage your in-game portfolio, and progress through the rounds. The further you make it, the more money you earn. It's really that simple. But if you go through this, actually, in the second page of the white paper, this infographic, if you don't, because people are so lazy for reading white papers, if you don't want to read the white paper, you can literally read that infographic, the one I'm displaying there at the minute. If you read that, it actually tells you every single small detail that you need to know to play the game.
Awesome.
And then the classes of NFT. So it's just explaining. So the story, obviously you've got to have some sort of lore, some sort of story behind the game. All what we've created is that the general gist of the story is that we all live on Pulse Chain somewhere in the future, and there's an evil army of robots and VCs and founders sending an army of evil robots to come in and overtake Pulse Chain. And we have the Pulsican army that are here to defend Pulse Chain. So the Pulsicans are an army of robots that defend Pulse Chain. Whenever you play this game, you play it with a fake in-game crypto portfolio. Everybody starts off with $10,000 that you allocate to our in-game coins. So we have pre-selected lists of coins. 30 of them are from Pulse Chain, and 30 of them are non-Pulse Chain coins. So depending on what NFT you get, will decide which type of coins you get in your portfolio. Whenever you play, you get your 10,000 fake dollars, and you get 4 either Pulse Chain coins or 4 non-Pulse Chain coins. And you literally manage that little portfolio through each round. And the higher the value of your portfolio, the higher up you stay in the league. That's how you make it through, by making little trades and progressing through the rounds. Any other questions so far, folks?
You've got some praise here from Bad Sports. Yo, Crypto Dev, nice to see y'all here. Pulsar team are top-notch geezers. Ali is on. And wanted to welcome Maddie Allen in the chat, Bad Sports. Let's see here, Utah Crypto, and the Fishing Entrepreneur says, go Ali. So keep going, man. Now, the different classes that you had, what's the background of each of those? Because, I mean, I saw you had VCs, you had founders. Do you have like a little bit of like how you came up with those different families or groups?
It all kind of just started from, as I say, the little bit of lore behind it is that, you know, the founders are the strongest in the game. They are founders of distant ecosystems and their own chains, and they're kind of the rulers of their own chains. But within that, they have armies of robots and VCs that they send to attack Pulse Chain, and then we have the Pulsican army that are just there, and that's what determines what type of coins you get. So I'll actually, it's on the next page, but just in the minting, this just explains a little bit about when you come to the site, you can mint the Pulse Wars NFT, which will be one of the 6: a Pulsican, a founder, a native, a maxi, or a power item. And if you join, this is the list of NFTs that you can use to come and join. So if you hold one of these NFTs, or whenever you like kind of click in, it'll recognize in your wallet that you own the NFT that you're saying that you're joining with.
Yeah. Warrant says you bought my Yoblins for dirt cheap.
I did a dirty on him. I bought 10 Yoblins off him and then added them into the game. Man, I'll give you them back for free. So this little table, so you're asking about what the different types are, okay? I'll run through this really quick. The Pulsicans, so within the 10,000 Pulse Wars NFTs, there are 4,600 Pulsican NFTs. They get their fictional 10 grand and they can invest that in 4 Pulse Chain coins. The 4 coins that they get are randomly selected by the game algorithm when it starts. So you don't get to choose which 4 coins you get. They get allocated by the algorithm, but then you choose where to place your $10,000 across those 4 coins. The maxis, there are only 1,000 maxis. They get 1 coin in their portfolio. They're kind of all in. 1 coin they get, and they put their whole $10,000 in 1 coin that is not from Pulse Chain. The natives are the same. They get 1,000. There's 1,000 of them. They have to put their whole $10,000 into 1 coin from Pulse Chain. The frenemies and VCs who are attacking Pulse Chain, there are 2,000 of those, but they can invest their 10,000. They will randomly get 4 coins from outside the Pulse Chain ecosystem. The founders they can actually pick their own coins, and they can pick any 4 that they want from both lists. So the only ones that can interact with the Pulse Chain coins and the non-Pulse Chain coins. And then there's only 200 of those in the whole collection, and they are much stronger than all the rest because of that ability to be able to choose coins from choose their coins and then play from both lists. And then we have 1,200 power items, which are just thrown in there at random. If you're unlucky or lucky enough to get drawn against a power item, you have a 50-50 chance of getting eliminated. So there's a number of these in every single round, and they just throw an element of complete randomness that even if you're doing really well or really badly, you might actually just get a 50-50 chance of progressing through to the next round. It's part of that being in there is to stop people gaming the system as well. You know, somebody can kind of try to, you know, maybe go and pump their own bags somehow, or manipulate the market or do little things. If they do that, they can still get drawn against a 50-50 item and get eliminated. And then that's the kind of list we have at the minute. This will change as we get closer to the full game launch, the actual list of coins that we have in the game. And then that's.
If you go back up a little bit to the different groups, I was looking at the trades people get per round.
Yep.
So the founders get four trades per round. The Pulsicans get 1.
Okay, so
and
just
then
on that as well.
Natives don't.
Yes. So the maxis and natives, what they get instead is the maxis and natives. If you imagine within any NFT collection, there's always ones that are better and always ones that are weaker. And the numbers are built that way. So the maxis and the natives are kind of the weakest play in the game. You imagine you've got to time a market buy of your $10,000 at a good time to try and get yourself, a little bit of a head start. But the only thing that the only action that they can play in the game is kind of like a luck boost. It's like a little wheel spin, you imagine, and they can boost their portfolio by, what's the percentages? Let me see. I can't remember off the top of my head. They can boost their portfolio. They'll have like a wheel spin with 4 chances, and one will boost it by 1%, one will boost it by 2%, one will boost it by 5%, and the other will boost it by 4%. So that's the only function that those guys get in the game. Sorry, 1 second. So yeah, they have no trade. They only get to call that function. The frenemies and VC. So here's the I didn't explain that. Sorry. The thing about the game is that when you imagine if you're managing this portfolio, you can only make 1 trade per round. You don't. It's a game built for everybody to be able to join in and play very, very easily without having to constantly worry about coming back, checking it every day. What we didn't want to do was create a game where the best players and the best NFTs are solely the guys that are sitting there 24/7 managing an in-game portfolio. That was not our target. That was not our target market. Our target market was the whole Hex and Pulsar ecosystem to be able to buy these and still continue on with their crazy crypto portfolios, management, YouTube creation. We're all very, very busy people. So this game is built very simply that you can still play along and not have to get too tied into it. So you can only make 1 trade per round to hopefully keep yourself in that top half of the table. However, the founders get 4 trades. But there's only 200 of them. There's only 200.
Light It Up says, are the matches totally random, or is it Pulse Chain versus outside networks?
So every single NFT, all 16,000, except the power items, they all go into the league and they all battle each other. All it is a battle league. You just have to finish in the top half to progress. It's that simple.
Good.
The citizens, sorry. So whenever you come along and join with an NFT from outside ours, so one of the Tang Bears or the Pulse OGs, one of those other NFTs, you play like a Pulsican. You get 4 Pulse Chain coins and you get your $10,000. But the added bonus for coming along and doing that is, again, you get to pick the 4 coins that you want in your portfolio, which is a massive boost for anybody at the start. Now, you could very, very easily pick 4 absolute dud coins because this is crypto. But if you fancy yourself as being able to pick 4 good coins, coming in and joining with an NFT from another collection gives you that little chance of picking the 4 coins that you want. And that's a massive thing within the game, and that's because they don't get one of our beautiful Pulse Wars NFTs. They just get their placeholder citizen NFT, and they don't get the opportunity to mint the likes of that little luck spin when you're minting of getting one of the founders. So that's the little carrot for those guys coming in, being able to pick your 4 coins.
Okay, and how long is each round? Okay,
so we have a schedule. Let me see if I've missed anything in the gameplay here. The gameplay is all pretty simple. There'll be a week before the game starts. So everybody will get their NFTs. There'll be a week before the game starts where everybody can come and do whatever selections they need to do. If you have the ability to choose your coins, your 4 coins, you come along that week and you pick them. And then again, that week, you get to select where you put your $10,000 across your in-game coins. That all happen the week before the full game starts. And then you can make your trades you can make your 1 trade or your 4 if you're a founder at any time during the round. So you might not even need to make a trade to keep yourself in the top half. But if you think you can do something good, it's worth doing. And then schedule. You're asking about the schedule. So this is basically it. The plan is the 10th of June we launch the game. Okay, the 10th of June the game goes live. In 280 days, hopefully that gives us plenty of time for Pulse to run up in price, and we get that 10, 20, or whatever it may be X, and that St. Patrick's Day 2025 will be the final. So the first few rounds last 30 days, and then as there's less participants in each round, the rounds get shorter and shorter. That's basically how it runs. So the first 3 or 4 rounds are all like 30 days each. and that just gets smaller and smaller. That table just breaks it down exactly. And as I say, the 280 days brings us to St. Patrick's Day 2025, which I was hoping that the winner will come and buy me a pint in Ireland.
Yeah, a bad sport says big party on St. Patrick's Day 2025, Ali.
Hope so.
And then Warren says that you can keep those the NFTs. I didn't know what you needed them for. Wish you best of luck, Pulse Wars brother. Good luck from the Hocus Pocus team.
Yeah, see, we've got the Hocus Pocus. We've got those guys involved as well. Their space pulse apes are in the game as well. So, like, you know, we've really went out and picked something. I've put a ton of effort. You know, you're talking about people not reading your messages. I've been trying to deal with 25 NFT creators. You can imagine how difficult that is. And we've got them all locked in. So you're just trying to get them to send me their confirmed contract addresses. Here's another thing that we've done that this is really important. There's so many awesome NFT creators out there on Pulse Chain that are relatively unrecognized. You know, there's people that there's collections from within our game that the creators of the NFTs have given them away for free. They have received no money. Now, every time somebody uses one of their NFTs to join our Pulse Wars game, they get 50,000 Pulse kickback. Okay. Plus, if there's any secondary market sales of citizens, they get the 5% royalty fee if it was their NFT that was used to mint the citizen. So, you know, it's in terms of pulling communities together and also, if I make this game a success, I will help some of these guys make some money as well. You know, I envisage a future where if the top prize in this game ends up, call it 10, Pulse does a 10x, and there's $5 million in an NFT. The winning NFT is worth $5 million. And we get down to the last 2 weeks and there's 16 left. Does someone want to cash out and take more than their NFT is guaranteed to win? And somebody will bat with the chance of winning the top prize. I do envisage a future where we see one of these or some of these NFTs sell for more than $1 million, because the DJs will be at the top of the bull run. The DJs will be there to DJ. And if we do sell an NFT for $1 million, and it's one of those NFTs from one of these guys who's given an NFT away for free, they'll actually get a $50,000, royalty from it. And that was a real important thing for me, that we've done something to add to all these guys that have created all these wonderful NFT collections on Pulse Chain as well.
Wow. And I apologize if I didn't hear this correctly earlier. The 3.5 billion Pulse, those are coming from the sacrifice phase, or is there a VC or a benevolent whale that donated that?
Everything comes from the sale of the NFT. So 53% of all the sales goes into the prize pool. And then 12%, the last sort of thing on my white paper here, the last thing is the Pulse Wars community games. There's a 12% of all the sales goes to the Pulse Wars community games as well. But that's the payout table. So as I was saying before, we've got 14 rounds, and if you make it through round 5 and into round 6, that's where these payouts start, and they kind of double. The further you go through the game, they double. So you get it if you're in the last 512, then you're into the prize pools. And as you go through each one, they kind of just ramp up higher and higher. When you get to the last 16 there, it's 62 million Pulse. You're guaranteed to win 200 million Pulse. If you come third or fourth, you'll get 600 million Pulse. Second place is 2 billion, and first place, that massive prize, is 3.5 billion Pulse. So yeah, it's pretty, and you only claim. So this will all be automated, and when you get eliminated is when you claim your prize. You don't claim as you go through. It's once you're eliminated, that's the time then you claim your prize.
Okay. Warren says, Kane, I like the way you thought about this, man. You know how we struggle at first to understand, but hearing you explain it more and more, I think this will be a game changer for Pulse Chain. Let's effing go. And then Fishing says, it's so fresh, totally unique, first in kind NFT type protocol.
It's so simple, but it could be so awesome. I really did build this and put a lot of effort into it, and I built it for our community. Even the power items, there's 100 power items, and they're completely random. There are 12 of each, but there's Richard Hart quotes in there. You know, there's little references to all things that I'm not even going to give it away, but there's little references to all things that we've been through over the last 3 years within the Hex and Pulse community. Something else that I haven't told people yet is whenever you mint a Pulsican, this took me fucking, sorry for swearing, fucking hours on end. Of there's about 1,000 names of people from within our community. Like FashionCoder's definitely in there, Kool-Aid's definitely in there, and a whole ream of other people from Twitter that are in our ecosystem. That when you mint the Pulsican, one of them might have something like your name. They're not the exact names, but they're definitely recognizable. Kind of put a little bit of a spin on them and change their names a little, but that's all in there as well. And I haven't even told anybody about that yet. This is the first time I've shared that little bit of information. But it's lots of little details in the game that people are going to see when it goes live. They'll see the effort that went in to building this.
And Bad Sports brings up the live stream. Live stream for these rounds and mini games are going to be so good, man. So are you planning on doing live streams during these rounds and during the
yeah, I mean that's
eliminations?
the whole part of the plan. You know, there's a third part. There's a third pot of money as well that we'll be using to make more games, and then there's all, you know, we do plan to stream kind of maybe every Wednesday, something like that, and cover this. I've chatted to RG3 and he was saying, I've chatted to a few big streamers and a few people have said they'll definitely bring me back on for updates when things are happening. There will be times throughout this that it will get exciting. You know, there'll be things happening within it that people will want. If it goes the way that I've hoped and planned, you know, it's going to be something really engaging for the whole community, especially if Pulse runs up in price, you know.
Yeah, the chat, Donners one says the Swans of Donner House has entered the chat, and Adam says, so this is where the party's at? Question mark. Because I mean, obviously you're going to have an in-person meetup on St. Patrick's Day of 2025.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, look, and it is a bit corny, but I really did build this to be a focal point of the ecosystem. If it works the way I've planned it and I get the support that I need to make it, once I sell out, this thing's lit. The game is on fully. That's it. Everything else is ready to rock. You know, I'm all over this. Just a little bit of background as well. Whenever this idea, so I'm an obsessive type of guy. You know, whenever I like something, I get obsessed and I spend every spare second working at it, building it, learning it, whatever it is. Before I get into crypto, I used to run online calisthenics fitness competitions. We had a small community, really engaged community of 2,000 people. And every year I used to run an online competition where everybody entered a league and gained points by doing these mad fitness challenges that I come up with every week. And this league ran for 3 months every year. It was absolute hell, but we had so much fun and so much crack just on our own little community doing it. So that was Bar Wars Ireland. And whenever I was thinking about how do I add to Pulse Chain, what can I do? I can't compete with the guys that are building dexes and doing all the really smart stuff and this and that. But what I can do is can create something that's fun and engaging and enjoy what I'm doing. I built this because I love it, because it's me. And when we're playing this, that's where the passion comes through, when you're doing something that you actually love. So I built this because I love this kind of stuff. I don't love looking at charts 24/7. I don't love trying to build dexes, but I love playing games and I love engaging with people. And that's it. So get this game on the go and we will have a lot of fun playing it.
Wow, I love the thought and the excitement that you put around creating this event for everyone to play with their NFTs. Because I mean, everyone that has an NFT, the first thing they want to do is use it in some way, whether it's just for their profile pic or something else, or bragging rights. I want to say welcome to Sloth. Sloth's in the house. And he's got and your NFTs are also going into Pulse Wars, correct?
Yeah. Ali was very generous and included my NFTs in the collection. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm excited to participate, and I'm gonna get you that NFT soon, Ali. I finally my computer.
Yeah. And we're doing the actual mainnet testing of using all the NFTs tomorrow. Here, I know I'm rambling on here, guys, but listen, this is a massive part of what we've built is the Pulse Wars community games. Okay, so that other pot that I'm talking about, every week we have 50 million pulse up for grabs in the Pulse Wars community games, and we will change the game as we go through. But the first game that's built will launch 3 weeks after the mint is done. Pulse Wars, the first game is a little mini pulse trading game. It will mimic what the actual full game will look like. So we wanted to give people a taster of what the main game will look like when it kicks off on the 10th of June. So we built this little mini game, a little trading mini game where all holders of Pulse Wars or Citizen NFTs can come to the website and click claim. They can claim a fake 1,000 die, and for 7 days you can trade the Pulse die chart, but you can only make 3 trades per day. At the end of the 7 days, with everybody who enters week, they will go into a leaderboard, and your position in the leaderboard will be based on that little fake portfolio that you're managing for that week from within your NFT. There'll be a leaderboard. The top 10 places will win cash prizes in Pulse every single week. So the winner, I think the winner gets, you come first, you get 6 million Pulse. You come second, you get 3.5 million Pulse. Third is 2 million Pulse, and fourth to 10th gets 500,000 Pulse each. Now, they're not big amounts at the minute, but as we run up, these will get really big. You know, the 50 million Pulse is just over, it's maybe about $6,000, something like that at the minute. But again, we got our first 10x. We're playing for 60 grand a week here, you know, just for holding an NFT. So that's the payouts. But listen, here's the kicker, and the bit that I really love, and the bit where we bring the community together. Okay, so you know the Tang Gang or even Matty Allen's in here. People are actually attacking Matty Allen and Sammy nowadays. What the hell is that all about? How can people be attacking these guys? So there's 15 million Pulse in that prize pool, but the other 35 million goes to community teams. So if you hold one of our NFTs, any of the 16,000, you can claim what we call a community badge, and there are 20 different community badges. So the likes of and what you do is you claim your affinity to that community. So we have the Tang Gang, Glory by Memes. We have I Believe in Aliens and PTGC. We have the Lorien Guild. We have the P-Die Crew, Love Paganing. We have We Don't Give Two Fucks. We have Vampire Attack, the Xenians. We have the Trailer Park Trash. We have the Captain's Syndicate. We have Crypto and Coffee, the Boob-Bearing Aussies. Matty Allen goes all in again. Friendships Confirmed. So we have 20 teams, and we've picked all these ones from, like, again, trying to encompass the whole wider ecosystem. You know, the meme kings, B-Roots are in there. They're always arguing with the P-Die Crew. You know, so you can claim your community badge, and what happens is whoever wins the weekly game wins the 35 million for their team. So say that you're playing the mini game and you have a Trailer Park Trash badge, and there's 50 other people have the Trailer Park Trash badge. They will be able to claim a 50th share of that 35 million Pulse just because you won the mini game.
Awesome. We got Crypto Compassion showing up in chat. Falcon Crypto -hex. We've got Warren says there's no competing on Pulse Chain. We're collaborating. If you have a great idea, build it, and you'll get the community behind it. And then Warrants also said, Richard Hart stated today, if you want something, build it. Worked for BTC, worked for ETH. So yeah, awesome. And I'm going to be on the Texan Tailgate tonight with Crypto Compassion at 6 Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So you can come hang out with us there as well. And Hex Monkey's in the house. He says, wow, what a great panel here. I couldn't agree more. This is an insane panel. Like I said, it's somewhere it's illegal to have this much IQ on one YouTube channel. So I'm happy to have you guys here. He says you have around $100 laying around. You can trade an artificial portfolio for a chance of 5 to 6 figures. It's an easy yes, please. And then Maddie is a friend in Dutch, UFA with M. Maddie, UFA with friends, and I don't like that. I'm not sure what the FA is. And then there's one other one I needed help decoding here, which was, I think this is a recipe for a drink, which is IRN brew plus Mountain Dew equals Pulse brew. You guys know what IRN is?
Iron brew is a it's a Scottish drink. I'm Irish, like, so don't be getting that confused. I just know this. But I think there's some mad stat that, like, Coca-Cola is the most drank soft drink in every country in the world except Scotland, and the most drank drink is their own drink called Iron Brew. That might be wrong. It's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, well, I mean, come here for the tech talk, stay for the recipes, kids. Maddie says, how coincidental. Sami means Maddie in Dutch. It says, and then Warren says, let everyone do their thing. Just enjoy Pulse Chain. If someone doesn't like something, doesn't mean you have to bash, trash, and crash a founder. Agree. Yeah, we're all about getting along and building together for positive energy here.
Absolutely.
So is there anything else you think anything else you guys want to add in chat, questions about Pulsar while we're on it? Anything else you want to add, Ali?
I've got some questions.
I really appreciate. I really appreciate the chance to explain all that. You know, that's a real good overview. You can anybody wants to dig through the white paper into a little bit more detail, feel free. Come in. If you go to the Pulse Wars Twitter, it's just at Pulse Wars. All the links are there. Pulsewars.io has all the links. That's the website, has all the links to the Telegram, Twitter. Come into Telegram, start engaging and ask questions in there. You know, we're in there. We've got Americans in the team. We can kind of cover most of the stuff 24/7. So yeah, just come in there and ask questions, get involved. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Awesome. And Gifford, go ahead, and he said he has some questions for you.
Yeah. Question is, so you're the lead developer on this, right?
No. I'm just a creator. The developers are an agency called Escape Web 3, Mike and Mark Barty.
Okay. So you're working with them, or they're working for you to build this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And are they going to be like producing any like code or anything that we can look at, or is there an audit coming through?
I have the mint logic. Everything will be fully audited and fully transparent, 100%. I've got so we've got the minting logics because there's a slightly difference than just a normal mint site, because you have to be able to come and there's two types of minting. We've had all that audited and verified. So we'll be doing it bit by bit. The mint has already been audited. I'll be probably publishing the reports on my Pulse Wars website tomorrow or the day after. It'll also go up on the auditor's website too. And then the community games, as I say, they're 3 weeks after the mint. So we'll publish those audits before that as well. And then when the main game is kicking off, we'll have all those audits to come out as well. So yeah, I mean, if you're asking about that sort of stuff, I can share I can send you the audit documents for the mint website if you want to get a read at them.
Well, what I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around is we're all going to be, you know, the community will be minting all these NFTs without a platform actually built or functioning. We're waiting for that down the road. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And is that why? So it sounds like if you have a company that you're working with, you might have some pretty high overhead on that. Is that why there's such a large percent? Like that 35%.
Yeah, so you imagine I just had this idea. I just had the idea, whatever it was, over 6 months ago, and I had to find the team to help me build it. It's not I don't have an in-house team. I've had to outsource pretty much everything. Audits outsourced, development outsourced, design outsourced, website outsourced. Everything's been outsourced, but managed by me overall. Now, my credentials, I run my own businesses. I've been in business for 25 years. Now, I've only been in the crypto space for 3 years, but I've done a plethora of different types of businesses. And, you know, they've been relatively decent businesses as well. So, you know, when it comes to managing things and dealing with people, I'm straight up, and I'll always try to bring the best out of people together. And that's what I've done with this game as well. So, yes, everything is outsourced, even the likes of Telegram. You know, I've had to get people in to help me put the Telegram together, to put all the security in the Telegram. It's enough work for me just trying to combine all this stuff together without, you know, the development and other things are not my expertise, but project management, bringing people together, creating things, that is my expertise.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of overhead. If this sells out, is what how much would be going towards the development side? If 35% goes out, and then you've got the side games where that will be funding development as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk publicly exactly about figures, but you know yourself how much effort a lot of this stuff takes to build.
Yeah, that's pricey. I'm just worried about your guys' overhead, but like you said, you've been in business a long time, so you know what you're doing.
Yep. No, we've got it's all mapped. Well for me, it's all mapped out. I really do think everything is coming together as at the minute the way I really hoped it would. All I've got to do is sell them all.
Yeah, Smo Spider says Ali has a background in casino brick and mortar, and that's what I was thinking when you're talking about being the visionary of this. It's like Vince McMahon of the WWE, or Dana White of the UFC, where it's like you've got this vision to put together this competition with all these people, and so that's pretty awesome. Vets and Cryptos in the house. He says like and share. Couldn't agree more.
Ali, I
He
have
says
a
he's
couple of
vetted and
questions for you. Oh,
top
sorry.
skin of the game. Sorry, just reading this. Go ahead.
Okay, so first and foremost, I love this. Like, this is such a great idea, and I just want to give you kudos. Like, you're a genius. Combining NFTs with gaming within just crypto, like, I think this is brilliant. So I'm super pumped about this. But just so I have the dates right in my head, so minting starts March 30th, and then the
Yep.
game is going to be released June 10th.
Yep. So, but
Okay.
the mint will be on the 30th of March.
Okay.
3 weeks later, the community games will kick off. So the community games are a weekly thing. They start 3 weeks later. So I'm not sure the date. 3 weeks from next Saturday, and then I think it's about another 6 weeks, maybe until the 10th of June. After that, maybe 8, and that's when the full game starts.
Okay, cool. I'm excited about this. I need a video to make today. I've been trying to figure out a topic, so I'm gonna make a video on Pulse Wars if you're okay with that.
Nobody's actually done a video covering it yet. So
Oh,
sorry,
sweet. Perfect. I'll do that today. That's awesome. I think this is such a good idea. So
it's like somebody mentioned there before that it really is. I think it's a great thing that we've built. But it does take, on first glance, it's just an NFT game. People don't really get it, don't know what it is. But whenever I speak to people and they see what we've done, that's so like a few people covering it and helping me explain what it is to everybody else is really what I need.
I mean, the best way to put it is basically it's battle royale of poker or any of that type of thing. Because you look at the mechanics and how things work, and then essentially the systemic design of battle royale is everyone goes into the circle as it gets smaller and smaller, and there you go, battle royale of poker, winner.
Love it.
Awesome. Any other questions for the panel? Sloth, Giff, Kool-Aid. Any other questions for Ali while he's on the subject?
No, I'm pretty well versed in the project, so good to go.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add, Ali, before we move on to Pulsar?
No, absolutely no. Thanks very much. I'm stoked.
Awesome. Yeah, Vet says Mad Max style. Awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that information, asking our questions, and taking all it, answering everything to the honestly, that's nothing more that we can ask for in our community other than transparency. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this vision with us. So now let's jump into a little thing called Pulsar. I believe Kool-Aid has some screens to share. Possibly.
We can do that. If you want to pull up the white paper, or you just want to chit chat, and we have our anti-hero, Dr. Sloth, the mortal enemy of Pulsar, our dear friend.
I'm the official heel of all of this. So
that's right. That's right. Mr. Glass. Giff, how you want to handle? I can
actually just go to the main website, pulsar.win, and go and pull it up. Sorry, I'm not prepared.
Let me pull that up here.
You want to give a elevator ring a bell on kind of how we got here, Giff?
Well, I did it last time, so now it's your turn.
Well then, okay. Sloth, Gifford, and I have been friends for a long time, and we've talked about a lot about how systemic design and mechanics and everything works together. And Giff and I have been tossing around some ideas behind the scenes now for almost, like 3 years. And when we saw what was going on with Titan, it really necessarily wasn't about Titan. It was about understanding the systems of where it came from and what we can utilize with a couple different pillars. One of that is bringing fair launch to Pulse Chain. No sacrifice, none of that. You're bringing your economic energy in. And with that economic energy, one of the other pillars is going to be permeable tokenomics, which is coined by GIF. And what it is that you're bringing that economic energy back into the system, not just as a lifeguard, but as a overseer to make sure that it works in a very contingent way. But more importantly, the core mechanic is creation, not inflation. So Giff and I like to use the term no leaky boat. And when you use those different paradigms together, they're like stats on a character or something like that, that really kind of binds an ecosystem into it. And when we were kind of tossing around the idea, we were thinking about what would be interesting about binding two L1s together. So we're binding basically, Ethereum into Pulse Chain and then start to thread those mechanics together. And so in this particular round, we'll call it, or version, no expectations, all the rest of that, it's not a utility token. It's an infrastructure layer for things that would be interesting to be developed. We can just call it that because systems require fundamentals to be laid in bedrock. And we're very, very passionate about doing that kind of stuff. Is that a good start for you, sir?
Absolutely. And, we're really trying to innovate a couple things with Pulsar. So a couple of things we're trying to innovate is one, Larry touched on it, which is the creation, not inflation. And essentially what that means is in order for this token to come into existence, real economic value has to go into the minting process, right? And then we need to combine it with something called, no leaky boat, which means if you try to do this fair launch, but you do it in like a miner kind of mindset, kind of like what TitanX or Zen has done, you run into that problem where you have constant inflation that just keeps pulling down the price, right, of whatever that main token is. So what we're doing is in order to mint Pulsar, and mind you, the only pre-mint of Pulsar we're doing is going to be locked in a liquidity pool, right? We're doing that to lock that in. Other than that, there is no founder coins. There is no VCs jumping in. There's no sacrifice. If anybody's sacrificing anything, it's the founder sacrificing for the initial pool because we have to pair that Pulsar with actual Ethereum, right? So once that's established, then the only way you can get Pulsar is by putting in real economic value in the form of Ethereum and TitanX in order to mint Pulsar, right? So that's the main one. And then the second one, and we can pull these apart a little bit more if you guys want. But the second main thing or main innovation that we wanted to pull off was how can we kind of meet three different communities where they are and have their own narratives that all still align with one token with Pulsar, right? So we've got the Ethereum maxis, right, who literally say things like, and I've heard this before, that Pulse Chain's for the degenerates, like the degenerate gamblers and such, right? There's a big view of that on the Ethereum standpoint. So if you want to come and mint Pulsar, you can do that and never touch Pulse Chain. Totally cool. Now, say you come in and you're the Pulse Chain maxi, right? And you're like, I'll never go back to Ethereum because those fees are outrageous. I want nothing to do with that, right? But maybe they're interested in TitanX. Maybe they're interested in Pulsar. We are going to bridge economic energy to Pulse Chain, whether people who interact with our smart contract want that happening or not, or even know about it. Totally fine. In what world has that ever existed before? Every world we've been in, we've relied on whales, institutions, you name it, to actually bridge over their economic energy over to Pulse Chain. We've developed a system to make that happen automatically without anybody needing to approve it or not.
And on top of that, it even goes into the fact that there's no OA or the rest of that. Yes, technically the permeable tokenomics is the OA. Hey, Max, you want to go ahead and scroll down to the second year mark, where it says Titan X and Pulse Chain. We can just kind of scroll
Down
down,
this way?
guys. Yeah, just keep going down. Just nice and lazy data. Cool. Yeah, and as Gifford was just saying, we don't need DOA, and we're bridging and handling all the economic energy for you, which is, not only not been done before, due to how we're building it. It doesn't have any externality risk, which is the most important thing about the air quote no admin keys. What it really is just put yourself at a pure security point above, where you don't have to worry about anything else cracking the boat again. Go ahead, Gifford.
Yeah. So before I go any further, anybody on the panel want to ask a quick question or need a clarification on anything that's been talked about so far? I know it's a lot.
So you guys, obviously Titan X is over on Ethereum, right?
Yep.
And so obviously most of us have wallets that bounce between Ethereum and Pulse Chain through Metamask and or Internet Money Wallet. And so you're going to go over onto Pulse. You're going to be on Ethereum, and that's where you're going to put your economic energy. But it's going to show up on the Pulse Chain network. Is that correct?
Sort of. You've got the general gist of it. The technicalities of it is a user who wants Pulsar will go to our Ethereum dApp and they will mint their Pulsar, and they will have to deposit the 2 Ethereum-based tokens to do that. And then after that, your transaction with our front end is done. You got your Pulsar. We now have Titan X and wrapped Ethereum in our possession. Now the question is, what do we do with that wrapped Ethereum and Titan X, right? Well, for one, we want to be a good steward of the Titan X community. So what we're going to do is we're going to automatically burn 50% of that Titan X that comes in, which the user gets credit for, by the way. And if you know more about the Titan X community, you'll know why that's important. And then we're also going to take the other 50%, and that's getting bridged over to Pulse Chain, right? And nobody owns that but the smart contract, and that's going to get deposited into a pool paired with Pulsar, so that now we can start thickening up liquidity over on Pulse Chain for Titan X, so people can interact. They can maybe do a lottery ticket or whatever on Titan X price at some point in the future, or maybe people want to build on Titan X over on Pulsar, right, or over on Pulse Chain. So there's that, and then the second question is all right, what do we do with the Ethereum, right? So on ours, the Ethereum, we do have 10% that goes to development and Genesis holders, right? So that's a no expectation wallet. All the things apply with that. But 90% of that Ethereum, which is going to be the chunk of our transactions, is going straight into a trustless buy and burn smart contract that will buy up Pulsar and burn it out of existence. So the idea is you're going to be in a situation where a natural arbitrage is created. It's too bad we lost Crypto Sloth, because him and I talked a lot about this. Way more behind closed scenes than in front of camera. But we talked a lot about this in the icosahedron ecosystem, and about the ceiling that was created on icosa based on the ratio between that and Hex, right? And the whole idea behind that was to pump the price of Hex, right? In our ecosystem, we will also have a ceiling that will be based on the value of Ethereum and the value of Titan X that goes into creating Pulsar, which means that if Pulsar exceeds that ceiling, people can now take their assets, mint Pulsar, and sell it back down, potentially at a profit, right?
Yeah. Do you want to comment on Moondog's comment? It says, creating infrastructure to enable Ethereum communities to deload ETH by running cheaper parallel transactions on Pulse Chain and having value tied between, like Richie is often talked about.
Absolutely. I mean, this is kind of the magic sauce, right? It's like, how do we really get this liquidity over on to Pulse Chain? Like, how do we do it? We've done all the right things in traditional means of like going out, networking, talking to new people, onboarding new people, getting people excited about Pulse Chain. But how do we do it in a way that brings over the people that just refuse to look into it, right? Mm-hmm. And this is one of those ways. And how do we add more money coming through the bridge? Everybody knows about the Pulse Chain bridge, and they know to go to gopulse.com, right? And they can look at how much value is being bridged over. We're creating a smart contract that is permanently bridging value to Pulse Chain, permanently. So that's one of the very cool innovations that we're bringing to the table.
Can I ask a quick question there? So when we on the Ethereum side, so we throw our Titan in and our Ethereum in, and we mint Pulsar. Does that Pulsar automatically get sent to your wallet on the Ethereum on the Pulse chain side, or does it sit on the Ethereum side until we send it ourselves?
You only get it on the Ethereum side. You're in your Ethereum wallet on the RPC of Ethereum. You're making your transaction. You get your Pulsar immediately. As far as the smart contract and you are concerned, your transaction's done. You put in your value, you got your Pulsar, you're done. Okay. Everything that happens on the backside is to benefit the ecosystem.
Yeah, and Vets asked here, and Kool-Aid answered it in the chat, but I just want to do this for the people that listen while they're jogging or at work. Will there be additional bonded liquidity pairs created on Pulse Chain?
Yeah, so the main bonded liquidity pair on Pulse Chain, which will be the same thing, no admin keys, it's going to be locked liquidity, will be ePulsar, eTitanX. That's where the smart contract is going to be creating the liquidity on Pulse Chain. And then any other liquidity pools that may pop up, a lot of opportunity there. Some people may say, especially guys like Sloth, again, wish he was here. Wrapped Pulse and these two tokens. You've got stable coins in these two tokens. You've got all kinds of communities that love to pair their tokens with 1,000 other tokens on Pulse Chain. A lot of opportunity there.
Cool. And then Vets also asks that all a person does is deposit liquid Titan X. Is it that simple for the end user?
That's right.
Well, you basically on the front end put in how much liquid Titan X you want to basically do. And our front end will basically tell you how much that is in Ethereum, and it's a flat ratio. Again, it's more about understanding infrastructure than using the word utility to not understand what utility is, because you have the ability to make cheap swaps, DCAN, on Pulse Chain, whether that's Pulsar, Titan X, or any other token that you want. But then by binding both liquidity on either chain, now we're moving that frustum forward. Instead of just a forked PRC that came from Ethereum, now we're building an infrastructure network to actually build that utility in between those two veins on top of each other. And then because the arbitrage is immediate, we handle all that back-end stuff. Something that Giff said off stream one of these times that I thought was really brilliant is because the system is actually so simple, you don't have to stake it. You don't have to lock up your tokens. You literally don't have to do everything because the system has core fundamentals on how it's created from the ground up. It already acts as a staking token because of the price appreciation just from creation, not inflation, that economic energy going to fund the permable, which we can get into a little bit more later, and how all those things actually wrap as a system together harmoniously. So if you look at a T-share, it's proof of time. And if you studied Zen, it was proof of gas. Titan is proof of Ethereum, whether you understand the project, like all the stuff or not. But we have studied, the giants that came before us. And that is why, Giff and I spitballed about this for a long hot minute. We're like, we can actually work with this to build something deeper into the ecosystem and actually set the standard besides just forking, someone else's stuff that they did before.
Awesome. I'm going to throw Moondog's first comment up here and second comment and ask you guys politely to translate this into English. Or make it maybe bring it down a little bit more. Yeah. I know that Gifford is a gifted translator. So when he says creating infrastructure to enable Ethereum commodities to deload ETH, let's just stop there. What is he saying?
So essentially what he's saying is, this is a great opportunity to show the Ethereum communities what Pulse Chain can do for them. In particular, the cheaper parallel transactions. So what this is doing is Pulsar and ePulsar are roughly going to have the same value, right? Just like you could see wrapped Bitcoin or wrapped ETH on Pulse Chain has similar values as what's on Ethereum, right? Mm-hmm. So this is going to kind of tie each other together. This is basically what Kool-Aid means when he's talking about binding two L1s. Is you're going to be able to play in two different ecosystems, but you're playing the same game. You may not know it, but you are. So it's going to give the Ethereum communities a chance to offload their Ethereum and come play over on Pulse Chain.
Okay, great. So like back in the day, for instance, when I was a Bitcoin maxi and we didn't want to pay the fees on the Ethereum network, we would take our Bitcoin and we'd go to Doge because Doge was super cheap and it was basically a stable coin of nothing. And so to avoid the Bitcoin fees back in the day, we used to switch it to Doge, do what we wanted to, send people money, whatnot, and then come back to Bitcoin as a store of value. So it's kind of like arbitraging the cheaper fees on Pulse Chain. Is that one way you could put it?
Absolutely. I love that. I love that explanation too. And that's kind of the key is we're playing in so many different communities. You're going to have correct answers from two different communities looking at this from two different angles, right? So there's not really a bad way to look at it. If you're talking about specifically like what routes you use to like minimize the gas fees and that sort of thing, that's one thing, but human nature is to find what's most convenient, right? Like people will do what's most convenient to them. So we're creating a more convenient way to run your favorite smart contracts on Pulse Chain at a cheaper rate.
That makes a lot more sense. I really appreciate that. And let's tackle this one right here. Additional bonded liquidity on Pulse Chain that requires new economic energy input as a part of its creation, aka filtering for quality of net creative players versus arbitrage feeders. Good stuff. Again, like that's English,
Fantastic.
but my brain has like rejected the third 3-syllable words, and I'm like, wait, what?
I
What?
I don't understand one freaking word of it.
And I love you, Moondog. I appreciate this. So you're bringing us good information. We just need to put it in like, kindergarten language for me.
I got you. I think I got you.
Okay.
So this is great. Another great comment. So what he's talking about in particular is the requires, right? He's got it in all caps, requires new economic energy input in order to get the Pulsar. So what's funny is, this is a token that does not require you to stake it to earn yield or play any other games like wait out time or anything like that. And the reason why is because the only way to mint it is to put in economic energy. So there's not really going to be too many scenarios where somebody's going to want to mint their Pulsar and then immediately sell it for a loss, right? Because that's literally what they would be doing. And the only time they'd be selling for a premium is if they're waiting for the price to ratchet up over time, right? And then even in the event that, let's say, in the numbers I ran, it would require roughly 70% of all the economic energy used to mint Pulsar to actually dump the price of Pulsar. So that being said, our comeback on that is the highest buy and burn percentage that anybody's seen yet in crypto, which is 90% of the Ethereum that comes in, which is the majority cost of minting Pulsar as it currently stands, will be used to buy and burn Pulsar and thus attempt to keep it close to its ceiling price.
So it's not only buying and burning or the Titan X over on Ethereum, it's also lowering the amount of Pulsar on Pulse Chain.
We're burning. We're a fan of burning. So we're burning Titan X, and we are also buying and burning Pulsar as it's needed.
Awesome. Okay, so going back to what he says here, filtering for quality of net creative players versus arbitrage feeders. So he's saying that like more economic energy is going in than coming out, whereas arbitrage is like a zero-sum game plus fees. So it's actually worse than a zero-sum game for most people. Yeah, trying to arbitrage.
And this is where the term perma bull tokenomics came from. I racked my brain for like 3 months on this guy. Like I was talking to Sloth, I was talking to everybody I could, and we could not come up with a name for this. But when you do a buy and burn, and it's especially prevalent in Pulse X, if you keep an eye on the amount of Pulse X is getting burnt and taken off the market, bought and burnt, you start to realize that buying and burning is very powerful, right? And there's something weird that happens in a buy and burn, in a trustless way. The weird thing that happens is that you're taking somebody it's almost like you're taking somebody who has money and they buy a token and then they walk away for the rest of their life and they never come back and look at it. Like that economic energy never gets touched again. It only gets touched that one time during the buy process, and you'll never see it get sold. That's a very special mechanic. And that's why I came up. I'm like, hey, this should be called perma bull tokenomics, because you are a permanent bull when you have a buy and burn that supports the token that you just minted, right? So that's what he's kind of touching on there too, is there's no way to like arbitrage or like beat the system so you can dump on other people's heads. You either are contributing to the perma bull or you're just not contributing at all. But there is no way to game the system to dump on everybody.
Awesome. Vets in Crypto says, is a person depositing both Titan X and ETH?
Correct. So that's there will be a ratio on there. And right now, based on the price of Titan X, since it has come down so much, it's going to be majority ETH. So at one point in time when we were building this, 1 billion Titan X equaled 1 ETH. That used to be a thing. But because it's come down so far, it's not a value of 50-50 anymore. So it's still 1 billion Titan X per 1 ETH, but the 1 ETH is, worth like, what is it now? Like 3,600 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that amount in Titan X is much, much less.
Right. Yeah, but remember,
will bounce around.
Yeah, and I think one point to notice is that remember that Titan is mined by using ETH by time, and not to go into the pure mechanics on that. There's a very fundamental reason that those slip and slides or those parallels can actually equalize very quickly based on what time frame that you're looking at and what's going on with that mechanic. And another thing is you don't have to mint Pulsar if you don't want to. You can just go buy it off the market. But if you're not creating it, you're not adding the economic energy to the permabull when we get there, which is its main overwatcher that handles all the rest of it completely. And that's the real different thing, is that, again, you can literally just hold this token liquid. Don't have to do anything else with it. And the entire systems will work behind you without lending, staking, locking up. All of that's done from the core creation process and the fundamentals that you use to create the system.
Yeah, and Falcon Crypto says, how does Titan X figure into this?
So there's the biggest thing is, like, we could choose to use whatever token we want, right? We could have choose different tokens. We chose Titan X because of the way of their ethos of developing early on, the way we saw that and we recognized that, and we're like, okay, this might be a community we can work with here. And that being said, we knew we had to burn Titan X. So we wanted to make that be a huge factor in the creation of Pulsar. Now, here's one of those situations where we can talk to 3 different communities and talk from 3 different narratives. So here's the Titan X narrative, is we want to be a good steward of Titan X. So we're requiring Titan X to come in as part of the minting process. We're burning 50%, and we're creating liquidity for people to buy Titan X over on Pulse Chain. And now, as you say, when we bind layer ones, if everybody starts trying to get their lottery ticket on Titan X and it pumps over there, guess what? It's going to pump on Ethereum too, because natural arbitrage will make sure that happens. So we're getting a whole community exposed to Titan X while we're burning Titan X as well.
Yeah, and Smo Spider says, works like a balancer. And of course, Kool-Aid says, yeah, the ARBs actually are the balancers. So they'll balance when something gets out of one gets higher than the other.
It really comes back to understanding the Cosahedron training days sessions. That really the fundamentals of those things come into play, because yeah, the market does what the market does, but humans, whether it's bot or people doing things, will do and move things to make profits. And because our ecosystem is uniquely designed to take advantage of those paradigms, it automatically works as a balancer, because that's what that is using, algorithms to balance loads of tokens.
Yeah, and going back to that Cosahedron balancing, how do we see that balancing out? Is that where they're tied together at a certain ratio, right?
Yeah. So early on, like before the the auctions essentially opened up because ICOSA launched, and then you could immediately turn in your HSIs in order to mint ICOSA, trustlessly from the smart contract. But when you do that, that puts it into the ability to go in default and thus go on to the auction, which means that it pushed out the auctions really getting started for 90 days. While we were in that 90-day window, we saw the Hedron or the ICOSA hex ceiling really do some really cool stuff. This is why I'm bringing this into Pulsar. And what it did is every time ICOSA got bought up and it exceeded that ratio between, basically it was outperforming hex, it gave arbitragers the opportunity to come in, buy a bunch of hex off the market, stake it Quattro Cinco, and then sell it to the contract for ICOSA. And then they made a profit from the two. So the ICOSA they received in return was worth more than the hex that they put in. And then, that's how the arbitrage, that's how it keep it at the ceiling price. And it worked really nice for a few weeks there at the beginning. And what that did, just look at the advantages of what that did. It took more hex off the market and staked at Quattro Cinco, right? And then it gave people the opportunity to win these in the auction house later on. Fantastic idea. The only unfortunate part is once the auctions went live, and I did mention that this was a concern of mine before the auctions actually went live, was that people would be getting huge discounts on these HSIs, and their ceiling price is not the same as everybody else's what it was at the beginning because they got these cheaper, and then they can go ahead and sell that to the contract and then sell down the price even more. And then so essentially that price load was just too much. And then not to mention, if you staked Hedron, if you staked ICOSA, you earned more ICOSA in the process. So that was inflation there. So there was a lot going on to battle that. So I'm thinking, how do we get that ceiling back? Because that's good for the ecosystem. It's good for, in this case, Titan X. Because every time the price of Pulsar goes above the ceiling, people will need to buy some Titan X to pair with their Ethereum to mint Pulsar and sell it back down for a profit. So it's like, how can you make arbitragers a net benefit for the ecosystem? And this is how. Hopefully that answered your question fairly well.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, and I like the way you tied it back to ICOSA. Adam says, jumping off my diving board into Pulsar and Pulse Wars. Go ahead, Kool-Aid.
Oh, just one more point. It was like, it's one of those things that you learn as you go on. I've talked about it now for years. Everything is a free simulation for me, because when you actually look at something objectively, whether your bags are tied to it or not, you now start to think like an actual game dev. We don't get to, be like, oh, I spent all this time on something and it's broken, throw it away. Now we study it and figure out why it broke, build it again and massage it. And the T rank was what got cattywampus over on Titan X. The same reason that when, Alex gave the Hedron bonus, and it didn't have a buy and burn component to it at all. What it does is it leverages your angle in a wrong direction, and it's very hard to come back from that, especially when the overweight and pressure gets more and more leaning in that direction. And that's the important thing, instead of forking something, is to study something. We always need to study what comes before us, but you need to rip it apart and really understand the components, rebuild the components, not fork a system. It's a very, very, very important thing in all walks of life and how you handle that kind of stuff. And that's how, we're looking at that approach.
Awesome. Vits in Crypto says, then ideally an end user sets an LP to exit when ready, as in a way to not hurt the chart and not eat slippage. Is that correct?
Well, Vets is just on it, is he not? I recognize him from the ICOSA Hedron days too. Yeah, ideally you could be in a position where you could mint Pulsar or buy it off the market and then set a V3 liquidity position to be able to exit later on down the road. And that's could be seen as a stake or like an exit point, right? So eventually, here's the two things you have to believe if you believe that Pulsar will go up in value. You have to believe that Ethereum's going to go up in value, and you have to believe that Titan X is going to have to go up in value. But you don't have to believe that they both have to, and that's the important part. So if Titan X is still kind of trading sideways, maybe it goes down a little bit more. That's fine. What do we think Ethereum's going to be doing in this bull market? I have price targets that are very high for Ethereum, probably a lot higher than most of the streamers would agree with me on. But if that goes up in price, now it gets more and more expensive to mint Pulsar. And same thing could be done in reverse. Say Ethereum starts going sideways, and then all the math in Titan just really starts clicking, or we see a new protocol that gets other people really excited, right? And that starts shooting up. It also does the same thing. It makes Pulsar more expensive to mint. And then what happens when they both go up? Well, now it's more expensive squared to mint. And every time that happens, the price ceiling is going up. And it's like, wait, but how do we keep up with the price ceiling? Permeable tokenomics. That's how we do that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
One more point before we move into more permeable stuff. Remember that there's $35 million in ETH waiting to buy and burn. Now, granted, we don't have control of that, and I don't talk about other people's utilities and tools and what they do, but that is an inevitable that will strike. Furthermore, if we want to lean into vet stuff a little bit more, because I made the point that you technically don't need to set up an LP play with the slippage and all the rest of that. Smart people know how to operate a vehicle, but I wonder if you were earning fees while you were doing that, and then that fees that you take would give you more ammunition to complete the circuit again. There's so many very simple onion layer or critical loops in systemic design that are directly in front of you that we've been coaching it, but I assure you it's there.
Yeah, and you mentioned.
Can I ask a really simple question?
Go ahead.
What do you think? What do you think then about that? How does it affect your protocol? The fact that there's pretty much no new Titan X getting minted. Is that a good thing for this protocol or a bad thing?
It's kind of agnostic, really. Like if there's one of the hardest downward pressures or the biggest struggle for Titan X right now, and I think majority of the community would agree with me, is people went really ham. Like they went all out on Titan X. Like there was a lot of miners, a lot of Ethereum went through that system. And that is a, you got to bring in Ethereum and you got to wait. And so this is all inflation. This is all inflation hitting the market, right? So the balance with Titan X that it needs to find, because it's really struggling to find it right now, is how do you get a consistent number of new miners without going way too high or way too low, right? And how do we get an equilibrium of the actual market value of it? And there are examples of this. I don't want to talk about too many other tokens, but there's examples of this, of inflating tokens that are just not that popular, that do absolutely fantastic on price performance. So it's just a matter of fact that nobody talks about it, right? So there was so much attention on Titan X that there was just way too much economic energy coming in and way too much coming out that caused some issues. So short answer is it's pretty agnostic to it. The point is less people are mining means less inflation, which hopefully means more impact on their buy and burn.
Yeah, and if you think about proof of power, which would be Bitcoin, how much could you get Bitcoin for when it was super easy before all the ant pools and everything else got together to make that lockstep that it was almost impossible to not only own the hardware but be pooled with something to earn the hardware? Yeah, Bitcoin's theoretically still mineable, but good luck. And so you have to really look at how all these systems work, not as a consumer, but as a designer or an architect. And that's, the one thing I've loved spitballing with Gifford now for almost 3 years is both of us are architects and both of us are designers. And we really care about thinking about this stuff. Like we absolutely thrive on it. And you have to kind of walk backwards and understand, if you can understand how hard it is to mint Bitcoin, when you still can do it, good luck. You just have to look at the time frame that you're looking at. That's why I understand the t-shirt was the most important thing, of proof of time. Now, proof of power is great in the beginning when you're steamrolling stuff and all the rest of that. Proof of programming theoretically would be Ethereum, but Titan is proof of Ethereum, and that will rubber band against, just like ETH gas fees do for calculating a t-shirt cost. The way an EVM or electronic virtual machine goes is it has calculation costs, just like everything else. And so it's really fascinating just to study this, regardless if, you invest, buy, or I've always gone with the moniker that we want to teach you why, not what to buy. That's always been a core component of who I am as a person, no matter what I do.
Love it. Love it. Now, for someone was asking here in chat earlier, when launch for Pulsar?
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. Love it. Love it.
So I mean, I could, I've said this before. Our code it's done. Our code is pretty much done, but I'm not satisfied with how clean it is yet, and I'm not satisfied with. I still believe there's a few more tests that we need to run to make sure this is 100%. I mean, Kool-Aid's been saying this ad nauseum in our Telegram chat. Is like, we don't rush things to market. We have never set a launch date, and we never will. So which means we're not delayed. We will give people like a 5-day heads up when we are convinced. When I am convinced that the code will do exactly what it says it's going to do, and that we've ran every possible test we can do, and we get some of the better auditors in the ecosystem telling us, confirming that what we built will work, then we will give everybody a 5 days notice, and then we will launch. There will be no delays at that point. Like we're going to make sure it happens. So we're trying to under promise and over deliver when it comes to launching.
Love
And
it.
to tip on that, I've seen multi-$100 million games shipped with less scrutiny than what Gifford does. It's pretty amazing on why and how. I mean, all of us on our team are core like that. Guru Burton, he is one of the best UI guys, and he is picky when it comes to every pixel. Same thing with Kinetics and how he handles business and all the rest of that type of stuff. We're very focused on why, not what, and that is how we want to adhere to the Richard Hard ideology of what we all believe in. And if you're going to create something, do it right.
Yeah, Crypto Elite says, yeah, make it 100% bulletproof. Adam says T-Rank exploded the overall numbers, and these are the consequences of too much adoption too fast. We will get through this phase eventually. The future looks bright. As someone, like, I've got some miners coming out in August, right? They've dropped ridiculously since I put them in, and I have one max length stake in Titan X that at first was paying out really good when people were doing the miners, but now, I'm getting like 6 cents, 3 cents a week or something silly like that. I've got much more trust and faith in you, Gifford, and Kool-Aid than I ever will in Jake, especially with a couple of the choices he's made. So I would say if someone who did go in on Titan X and would rather, throw in their lot with you guys, what would be my move when Pulsar launches?
So I would say, just in general, that this is also one of our narratives, right? And so this is your viewpoint. So this is fantastic. So your viewpoint is essentially, I want to participate in Pulsar, and that's probably about it, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, I've had this question before, and it really comes down to this: once we launch, we should have liquidity on Pulse Chain within the hour, right? Because people will immediately start minting, and then our Pulsar pathway contract will handle the rest. It will deposit the liquidity over on Pulse Chain. So you could essentially just chill out, wait for the liquidity to start filling up on Pulse Chain, and go ahead and pick yourself up some if you like. The cool part is there's going to be very little points in time where it would be more beneficial to mint as opposed to buying off market, because we saw that with Icosa. Every time there's an arbitrage opportunity where the price is above the ceiling, there's somebody arbitraging that down. They're like, that's free money. I'm getting that, right?
Yeah, most likely a script or a bot.
Yeah, absolutely. So there will be more likely than not, there will be a lot more time where it's below ceiling price, where it's actually cheaper to buy it off market. So you're not losing out on anything by not minting it over on Ethereum. You could simply just wait, chill in your community and Pulse Chain, right? And just go after the token that you like.
Now, let's say my miners come out and I mint all of my Titan X. Do I have to put equal amounts of Titan X and Ethereum into the contract?
Well, it's going to be a ratio. So
Okay.
You know, if you come in with if you got a billion tight necks that you want to mint Pulsar from, you're gonna have to come up with an ETH to pair with it.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then it scales. So you could come in with, 500,000 tight necks and it'll be that much cheaper in ETH, right? Nothing's set. It's a scaling factor. So it's always a fair ratio. There's no advantage to come in with big amounts, big bags, or lower amounts or smaller bags, as long as gas isn't a big issue at the time. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question there.
Yeah. And Lunacy Point says, will you launch when Pulsar is complete? Or will you wait for a point of entry? And she also earlier said she absolutely loves her gift tokens. So she gave me a shout out there. I was trying to put that out there earlier without breaking the flow. And then Kool-Aid says, when GIF is happy, we're ready to go. That's the answer, right?
I mean, what it really comes down to is I'm just focused on working with our A and B team devs and making sure that everything is perfect. That's all I'm concerned about right now. Once we are perfect, like I said, we'll throw a 5-day window out, and then we'll launch at some point. You will not get any updates after we say, we're going to wait at least 5 days and then we're launching. And then it's really going to come down to, the gas on Ethereum, right, has been getting a little bit better as of late. I think it might have something to do with the upgrade they did. But I don't know that for sure. But long story short, there is a big cost in launching tokens or smart contracts on Ethereum, and we want to try to time the gas just right so that we're not losing out on a whole lot of economic value that would otherwise go into the liquidity pool. So the only timing we're going to be making is as a dev team when we go to launch, and that's to try to snag some cheap prices of gas.
Awesome. Which is the standard time when you want to do crypto stuff in general, Tuesday night, Saturday night, the standard stuff that don't launch your NFT mint or something at 3:00 on a Friday, or so it's more of a strategic way to make sure that everything is the best for the user experience. It is not timing to wait for a price participation point. It's more the forefront of making sure the user experience from deployment to the user side is thought out flawlessly.
Yeah, and can you speak to this comment that you said also that makes this one of a kind?
That's all Gifford. That is all Gifford.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's your comment. That's why I was going to have you expound on it.
Sure. But I mean, it's Gifford's baby. So, but you think about it, nobody's ever did this auto bridging bonded liquidity over bridge. There had to be so many other external factors that had to come in. Then you really, if you want to take it one step further, everyone really has been bridging in stables or wrapped Ethereum to bring in value. What else has brought in value into it? We're doing many, many different things if you look at the core components of how it works. Now, the buy and burn inherently of itself stays on Ethereum. Here's another nugget. Because you get all your cheaper transactions and all the goodies from the V2 locked liquidity pool. Oh, by the way, we don't even keep the fees over there. It restacks into the system. We've tried to make it the most advantageous to thicken and broaden the stroke of what is being done through Pulsar on Pulse Chain. On the Ethereum side, the Permable looks after everything that goes past there before the pathway. And so you have all of these things happening and wrapping at the same time into a very interesting, exciting system that looks, I guess, simple if you look at it from the outside. But when you actually dig in, it's really complex, but yet it actually is really simple. You just have to really start to look at the lines in the sand on why they're elegantly done. And that's why I guess it's better to explain it, because he's more surgical, whereas I'm more spatial.
Yeah, is there a visual representation I can go to on the website here so people can wrap their heads around it visually?
Which part exactly?
Just on the website, is there a maybe a diagram or a flow chart or just something that kind of puts in people's brain visually?
Well, I'm hoping that a community member steps up and does that.
Okay.
I would rather have the community be a little bit more involved, and they've already been. We've had some great, talented people come forward and just want to be involved and offer up their skills on what they're able to do. And it's been fantastic. So we don't want to throw out all the goodies just coming straight from the team. We want to be able to explain exactly how this is going to work and let them kind of create their own diagrams and their own flowcharts on how this whole system will work. I'll tell you one thing: there is already some material that will be launched by a community member at the time that we announce that we're about 5 days out. When we announce launch date, then we'll see some more material coming out from community members, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Cool. I know the symbol for Pulsar kind of looks like that spinning top from Inception. Is that a wink to Inception of the building on top of another, system, or?
Well, a little bit. I mean, I like the name Pulsar because it kind of had pulse chain in it already, like the name, and then the actual Pulsar itself, like in our when you think about astrology and such, is that it kind of, there's like this a beat, like a beacon of light that kind of shoots from it. Not to get too nerdy, but it's like the idea that it's shooting value over to pulse chain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the design was our UI UX guy, who was amazing. He charted out a whole bunch of designs based on what the input we gave him, and that's kind of what a Pulsar looks like. But he actually pointed out that it looked like the top from Inception, and he's like, I really like that too. So props for recognizing that, because that was something that came up during the design process.
It also technically is a stretched Ethereum logo as well. So,
ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Moondogs here says, I've seen $500 million DEXs launch with allegedly flawed code that no one caught. But really, the time or crowd, always happy to hear creators favoring time to iron out potential foreseeable issues versus giving in prematurely to the when crowd. So he appreciates that. And then Smoke Spider says, earlier it says, I like the feature where we zap in with ETH, where it automatically creates a pair in some cases, though.
So what SMO Spider was talking about is like, hey, I don't have any Titan X. I just got ETH. And I'm like, yeah, you're good. Let's call it that side of the cycle. There could be a time when Titan goes down. ETH goes down, Titan goes up. But at this point, you're sitting on hard money. And that's, again, I've heard your rants before, and I absolutely love them. Explain why ETH is so fundamental hard money, especially when you think of ETH as proof of programming, going from proof of power in Bitcoin.
I mean, the biggest thing is that it was huge innovation to create smart contracts. And I think that's where a lot of the economic value that came into Ethereum, not even initially, because initially there wasn't really smart contracts and it wasn't really a thing. But over time, they've proved that that their development team and the way that they launch things is something that big money just loves, right? If you're not in Bitcoin, you're in Ethereum, as it has been for some time now. And Ethereum is tied to everything. So Ethereum is tied to everything in general. They're, even if you look at layer twos are tied to Ethereum. And essentially that's where all price points come from. Like the ratio between Ethereum and every other token is what gives those tokens the price, their value. Now you may argue that, well, the Ethereum stablecoin pools are what gives it the actual dollar value. And I would agree with that. But really, it all comes back to Ethereum. So using the Ethereum native token on Ethereum as the majority backing of the value that comes into Pulsar is just fantastic. And we're just getting started in this, what might be a really weird bull market. And we've got plenty of time. But this seems to be like the core asset to start with.
Awesome. I want to say hi to David Lee in chat. Says, great stream, legends. Good to see you, fam. Vets in Crypto asks, any benefit to bridging Titan X to Pulse Chain?
Not currently. There's not. My official statement on that would be, we want a liquidity pool over on Pulse Chain of Titan X and Pulsar, so that we have our infrastructure in place.
Cool. And then yeah, Crypto Elite says, in my opinion, LP is all that matters. I have to agree with that. Liquidity providing makes a huge difference in coins.
It's what makes the world go round. I mean, it's the fundamental, let's call it grease on the wheel that makes it keep going and that keeps that perpetual motion spinning.
David Lee says, love hearing you, sir. Great project and teamwork. A lot of love in the chat here for you guys. And then Moondog says, Synwave heard it both ways. And he's referring to what Gifford was saying about Ethereum, correct?
I think it means sine wave.
Sine wave. Yeah. It says it's not going to hurt you, but you won't be able to create Pulsar with it.
Right.
Yeah.
When he's talking about bridging in the liquidity.
Bridging it in.
It's, again, like we're building immutable liquidity pools that compound on top of each other. That means that there's going to be a lot of benefits for people that want to build on Titanx and use it at the height of the bull where it's expensive. But it also kind of sets the standard on many other ways on how things should be done. But yeah, you can bridge it over and do what you want. Just like you can technically bridge your Pulsar, which would be ePulsar on Pulse Chain, over and do what you want with it there. You could pair that up with other stuff on your own, just like you could with a V3 on 9mm or any of the rest. We're going V2 immutable for a very, very good reason. You know, it's the same reason that Richard Hart does his V1 to get incentive token. You have to think about how these systems actually work. It's kind of like putting gas or fuel, which as a retired trucker is diesel, in your car. They're different things for different reasons, and there's a very important reason why.
Love it. Love it. And referring back to Inception, are you guys hoping that people build on top of Pulsar?
We would love to. Absolutely love to. You know, that's one thing that I really strive to our team is, you know, a lot of times they want me or they want somebody to build things, right? And it's like that's not really how communities should be working. We should not be all sitting around waiting for some, you know, win dev. Come on, win dev. You said you were going to build something. Like, where is it, right? Like, that really shouldn't be where it's at. And it also shouldn't be one of those things where, like, you go off and do it, and I'm just going to completely ignore you. We don't need that either. So anybody who wants to build on Pulsar, whether it be on Ethereum or Pulse Chain, you know where to find us.
And furthermore, if you're building on Pulsar, realize at this point it's just an infrastructure pass. All the fun stuff could happen later. But because it's infrastructure, it's flat, which means that you can build on it based on the ratios that we already explained. It's flat. But when you build on Pulsar, a lot of interesting thing happens between permeable tokenomics, creation, not inflation, no leaky boat, and how we're handling everything from the polish, from the art to the site to Gifford literally take a tooth and comb and looking at everything till satisfied.
It's definitely going to be very interesting when you launch to see just what people actually do and what way they start to utilize the Titan over on Pulse Chain. You know, there's a lot of people, myself included, that have been, you know, I didn't want to get into. I'm obviously building Pulse Wars, but I'm part of a team that got heavy into Titan X that are also building things over there. And there's been a lot of change over there in the ecosystem, but there's a lot of builders that are sitting around waiting for some opportunities or for the right moves, and everybody is sitting kind of, you know, twiddling their thumbs, watching what way all the chips start to fall. I'm really excited to see what happens whenever you guys crank this thing up and get it going. Whenever you first talked about it, I thought it was going to be much more to it, but the infrastructure layer, and that's the way they just nailed that part is brilliant. I love that. The fact that it gives everybody else the opportunities to come, and you're talking about the communities getting involved. People can come and do what they want. There's a lot of built up energy waiting to do something with all their Titan as well, you know. So yeah, it'd be great to see. I'm hoping, yeah, I just need to see what way it all starts to pan out once you guys launch this thing.
Here's the fun part. Like, people like to use the term game theory, and everyone knows me. It makes me shudder because unless you can tell me the mathematical formula, which I'll tell you right now for game theory, then you probably shouldn't use that term. It's mechanics. But there's one component of game theory, which you're talking about, that's social consensus. So the real mathematical formula for game theory is parenthesis, mechanics, divided by systemic design, and parenthesis, times social consensus. And the social consensus is where you actually see how do people apply the mechanics or the rules down to the social.
That's the only bit that applies to me, my friend.
It's okay. Everyone does it, and it's fine. But I mean, I've been a game dev for 18 years. Like, I don't go talk to people about the pilot theory, and I'm not flying a plane. But for me, it's just a wrong appropriation of a word to be used as a buzzword, like blockchain technology. There's a very good application to use the term game theory. The real one, historically, is actually computers trying to figure out nuclear detonations between each other, between ones and zeros, and simulations of that. It has nothing to do with social consensus. It had to do with algorithms of change. And how many times can you push a button till it automatically defaults and a nuclear war happens? So a bit of history there. But regardless, social consensus is how you understand how someone plays the game. So they're playing chess or checkers. Do they understand the board that they're on? Because technically the board between chess and checkers is the same. It's the rules, the mechanics that change, the board, and how you understand your opponent, whether your opponent's yourself, your system, or someone else that understands both. So again, it's not a neg. It's just people should understand the difference in it. And when they do, the social consensus, which is what you're talking about, that's where it gets exciting, because that's when you get to see the difference between a master chess player pick up the game of Go. And do they understand it? Yeah, they probably never played it before. They'll grasp onto it really fast. So that's the difference in people that understand a game and those that play a game.
Love it. Love it. This is awesome. I'm so glad you guys came on here to spoon feed us, plebs and degens, all of these ideas and systems that you guys have had in your head. And it's so inspiring to see this stuff come to fruition and show up in the physical world. So like, I tip my hat to you guys.
Everybody starts somewhere. Like when I got started, before Hedron even launched, like to really wrap my head around the game mechanics of Hedron and to really start pulling it apart and engaging in conversations with these guys, Alex included. Like that's what inspired me to like, okay, how long is it going to take me to be a self-taught, engineer or developer, right? And so it pushed me to go through this and to spend. You wouldn't even want to know how many hours I've spent in the last 2 years educating myself on all this stuff. So I'm happy to come out and try to provide some real value to multiple communities. And I'm totally happy talking about this stuff with you guys anytime.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a hopium or copium. It's actually well thought out systems that we can even talk about ours objectively or where it came from, as you should, if you want to understand a system. If you don't want to repeat history, not only do you have to understand it, you have to change and evolve with it. Otherwise, it will fold on top of you because you didn't learn from where you came from. And when Giff started on this journey, I told him he's going to be one of the most dangerous people in the world. And it's just gotten crazier and crazier how quick he's adapted this kind of stuff. It's absolutely brilliant.
He means dangerous in a good way, not in
absolutely.
Yeah.
He started out as just being able to translate Larry, and now he's one of the best coders and developers, or even architects and designers I've ever had the privilege to work with professionally, and definitely a privilege, as a friend and a cohort in crime. It's dope.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think this is really the cutting edge of finance in DeFi, because I mean, as crypto's evolved, we were talking about this last night, Larry. Crypto is clearly the future of gambling. Like, it's clearly beating the shit out of the lottery and Vegas and the stock market and everything that people use to speculate. Mm-hmm. It doesn't hold a candle to crypto. Crypto is speculation on steroids. And then most of us here believe that it's also the future of gaming, the future of finance, the future of entertainment, right? We just haven't seen those things develop yet and really take the lead, kind of like we were talking about the early internet early in the internet, it was easy for the internet to take over mail and make, email a thing. But it took a while for commerce. It took a while for the Amazons, the Netflixes, the Facebooks, the social networks to really show how useful they were on the internet. And so I love what you guys are doing here. It looks like it's the bleeding edge, the beginning of true finance and truly holding and transferring value and economic energy without just a boom bust cycle that we're so used to.
And I think the trick to that is that carrier pigeon maximalisms never go backwards. Fax machine maximalisms never go backwards. When you realize that the power of decentralized interoperability and how that works, there's so much that's going to be unraveled. Is you just have to set the stage for it. And that was going back to one of our core components is how do we bring these pillars of value that we hold deeply and reinforce them back into Pulse Chain, the system that we love, along with trying to build that bridge that Nicole Nerd Girl always talked about way back in the day to other communities. Because it's not about an us or a them, it's a we, because we are DeFi. And the same thing that RG talks about on his tour and all the rest of that. Also in Utah, as you mentioned in the beginning, make sure you come out. We are DeFi, and we have to set that standard unilaterally.
Love it. Moondog's got something here. He says, time management is a skill. Love how much tokenized time I've been able to buy on discount by emotional peeps and markets lately. Desi on ETH selling its T shares for 7 to 11K Hex on top of Hex discount. So there's some arbitrage opportunities going on over there on Ethereum right now with the perps.
Yeah, Moondog's a fellow Texan. I just got back here not so long ago because my career, I move around a lot, but he's a very, very smart, quick person.
Yes, and there's a lot of talk about sprouting and health in chat. If you guys want to catch up on that, it just didn't have anything to do with our conversation, so I let it roll. But yeah, if anyone else has any other questions, throw them in chat. If you guys have any questions for anything else to ask him, Ali, like now's a great time to put anything else. What else do you want people to know about Pulsar that we haven't asked you guys yet?
I mean, I can go on and talk about this stuff forever. I mean, I guess the ideal thing is just come in and chat with us. We're pretty. I mean, gotta watch out for Rose. Me and Rose are not friendly. We DMZ hard line. Like she does not like me. Technically in our chat, she's nice to me.
Yeah, but, is that the Rose that was on TikTok earlier? She's part of the Genius community.
No, it's Rose the Combot. Basically, I get evac so that way my chair is just sitting there and I'm not there on stream. That's the meme from earlier. GIF as my chair was on stream with Hexray for 40 minutes one time.
Yeah, I had a great interview with your chair.
100%. Same chair. Chair says hi. Yeah, chair says hi.
That's great. That's a really good segue. Where do people get involved and keep up to date with Pulsar? What is it? Telegram the best place to hang out, or X, or where would you guys? What are the links and where can people follow Pulsar and its development?
Yeah, Telegram's going to be the best spot. You can jump into there and you can throw in things like website, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, and it's all filtered in there so that you can grab those easily. If you don't like to be on Telegram or you're not on there, just go to our website, pulsar.win, and there are links to all that on the website as well for you to follow.
Top right-hand side.
Awesome. Let me pull that up here. Boom, top right-hand side, right up here, huh? Boom, right up here.
Yeah, there you go.
Got those babies right there. Awesome. And where can people follow you, Ali, and stay up to date and get ready for the minting that's coming this Saturday? Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, so it's just Ali Kane 5 on Twitter, or it's easier if you just go to just Pulse Wars on Twitter, and all the links are in my bio on the Pulse Wars Twitter site. That'll take you through the websites there, the white papers there, the telegrams there. So that's the easiest place.
And what's the handle on Twitter so people don't go to the wrong Pulse Wars site and get jacked?
Yeah, that's it. Just Pulse Wars at Pulse Wars. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. And anywhere else that people can follow you, Gifford, or collaborate with you if they want to reach out?
I do have a Telegram group. It's just Giffordwear.win. In there, I have links to my Twitter. I'm not super active on there, even though I've been on Twitter. I just noticed it said since 2000. What was it? 2011? Something ridiculous. I've been there like 13 years. Whew, dating myself. But yeah, so you can find me on Twitter. I'm sometimes on there, but Telegram's the easiest way to find me. You find me either in the Pulsar group. You can find me in the Icosa group, Hedron group. You can find me in Giffordwear group. I'm around.
Awesome. That's great. And then obviously I'm Pulsar Vision and Hexray Vision just about everywhere. I'm going to be streaming with Crypto Compassion tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Texan Tailgate and talk about there. I wish I had more to share on my project, but we will have a front end up and running in about a week that we're going to start doing our donation phase. So we're going to be raising funds to go from finished code through the audit and marketing phase. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. And then of course I'll be at the Pulse Chain Tour in the Salt Lake City area, April 13th. So if you guys make it to that Pulse Chain Tour, we'll be hanging out there as well. So other than that, I want to thank you guys a lot. I want to thank FashionCoder, who's not here, and Sloth. They both had to duck out early. So I really appreciate those two. Follow them, and they're a wealth of knowledge, just those two alone. And then I'm going to ask you guys to do an awkward wave goodbye. That's how we end the Tech Talks. I want you guys to just look at the camera as I play a little bit of music here. And
I like after 3 years now, you don't ask me how to find me.
Wave.
I've at least trained you a little bit.
Kool-Aid's everywhere. Kool-Aid is like the Holy Spirit. He's everywhere and nowhere at once.
Unless the Kool-Aid.
Unless you find him on the dance floor, and then he's very physically present on the dance floor. So, do you want to show any links before we do the wave, Kool-Aid?
I thought I just trained you. I don't show links.
All right.
Pulsar that one. Pulsar that one.
All right. Here we go. Here's some music. Just look as awkwardly as you can into the camera and wave goodbye to the wonderful people in chat. Thank you so much for coming. We all look like we've never waved before, like we're AI robots learning to wave.
I mean, I can put it on loops and I'll record you, turn you into sock puppets.
Awesome. All right. Well, look for clips from this Tech Talk and other Tech Talks, because I mean, shoot, we have 2 hours of very dense information from both Pulse Wars and Pulsar. And I appreciate you guys more than I can express for coming on here and sharing your time and your information. And we'll keep doing updates as you guys get closer to launch and have your steps. You're welcome on anytime. And I thank you again for joining us.
I just want to say quickly, I do appreciate the opportunity to come on. You know, as a relatively unknown person, it's difficult to get your foot in the door and get on spaces like this. So thanks very much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for reaching out on Twitter and putting out a call to action. I appreciate that. West Coast Spark says, I miss Kool-Aid. I met him on the dance floor. My life was forever changed. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. And we will catch you guys next week. We have the Barista founders and also Robert Janito from Genius are going to be joining us and talking about that and all things crypto. So we'll catch you then. And thanks again, guys.
Later, all. Have a good one.